wasn't growing. It was, in fact, going down. So suddenly in an email, which is a footnote in a New York Times article, this guy changed the average temperature of the Earth to 14. And then they said, oh, the Earth's temperature is now 14.6. My point is there's money involved in purporting that climate change is taking place. And that money is involved, very closely associated with the Paris Accords. And the Green Fund was going to be used by American taxpayer dollars basically to fund corrupt officials in 190 countries so they would join the Paris Accords. It's a complete scam. It has nothing to do with helping the climate change or helping to, address pollution.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'm so glad you're talking to us about this. This is fantastic. I got to check that out. Where would you point people to look if they're interested in what you just said and it's like news to them to hear this?
Yeah, so I've done if people just want to type in my last name, Ayyadurai, Shiva, Ayyaduri, type in Paris Accords, and I did a very nice educational video, using systems visualization and diagrams. People can see it. I go point by point by point, and I explain it, and the evidence there is pretty clear to anyone who wants to look at it rationally without being religious, which is what's happened with people who hold religious views. There's a new priesthood now. People don't look at things rationally. Same with GMOs. If you go to the International Center for Integrative Systems, integrativesystems.org, we've published all of our 5 papers, which have been published in journals that Monsanto and the USDA also publish in. But the bottom line is we have an opportunity with what occurred on April 19th at that Boston Free Speech rally to people really to step back and realize that they need to go within themselves. They need to start using their own mind, their own reasoning capabilities, and stop listening to nonprofits, NGOs, organizations which tell them what to think. And that's what's going on. Finite set of people think everyone's stupid and they're smart, that they think someone, is going to do a Heil Hitler sign, that they can't make their own decision whether that person they should listen to or not. That's the fundamental problem. We have people like Elizabeth Warren, who I'm running against, who thinks she's smarter than everyone, that she's going to fight for us. The reality is we each have to fight for ourselves by using our own mind and reasoning capabilities, which was what the founders of this country wanted.
Right. Now, you just said something, NGOs and the nonprofits, they're the ones, it seems, that are funneling their information to the press. So the press must have a connection with this type of money that's floating around. Obviously, they get advertising money.
I've been within the military-industrial complex at MIT, and I was at Hollywood for about 3 years when I was out there in a relationship. What I can tell you is all of these people hang out. It's more of an implicit engagement, okay? If you're in New York, all of these, the quote-unquote Republicans and the quote-unquote Democrats literally hang out together. They're incestuous together in many, many ways. They're all buddies, okay? So it's all implicit as well as explicit arrangements that they have. And they're all one little clan. And it's basically a big echo chamber. And in many ways, Trump was not part of that echo chamber, you see? And that's what people need to understand. I never voted in my life. I broke with any idea of the establishment when I was 18, 19, when I saw Jesse Jackson, who I thought was independent, hand all of his votes to Walter Mondale. And when Trump ran, I voted for him, primarily for the reason he was a necessary disruption to a system which was being controlled by a few set of people. So I think we need disruption. I think we need to get rid of all of these career politicians. I think everyday people should be participating in politics. We need to start really looking at, why are people going to college and getting these, getting $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 student loans? What are they really learning? And it's a foundational relook we need to do and realize that we're all being bamboozled by people who want to claim they're fighting for the minorities, fighting for the quote-unquote darkies, fighting for, poor people when these people are actually taking advantage of them. That's what's really going on. And that's what we saw at the Boston Free Speech rally. Charlie Baker, who needs to win, Marty Walsh, who needs to win. They used us. They used the police, and shame on them. Not shame on us. Shame on them. Yeah.
Now, what would you say for the people that went to the march? They had their signs up, don't hate people, and they had their signs. What would you say to them right now, personally? Now, if they're just hearing this because they didn't know what was going on in that pavilion, What would you say to them?
Well, I think, look, so what I would say to them, the sincere people who came to protest, which they have every right to do, what I would say to them is we have a huge opportunity. We're at a crossroads in American history to go into what I say, the light or to the darkness. And it's really up to them to start listening and really reflecting on what took place on August 19th, that people came in there in peace to really discuss a spectrum of views and that they were bamboozled. And they need to start looking at who bamboozled them and what were their motivations. And I'm not going to tell them. I have my own opinion, which I've shared, but they need to reflect on that. And are they going to be sheep? Are they going to be used? Are they going to be really true to what this country was about? Because they were all taken advantage of. What they care about is getting elected. The inner cities in Massachusetts where they claim they want to help poor blacks and poor whites. And there are poor whites in this country, too. Let's not forget that. It's not just poor blacks, but a lot of poor whites. And those poor whites are the ones who voted for Donald Trump because the so-called elites, Obama and on the East Coast and the West Coast, were not paying attention to them. And to call them, KK people and white nationalists when they stand up for their rights also is also a form of racism. And we need to really look at this in a much more truthful manner. So all those people listening, drop your label as liberals, drop your label as left or right, because it's all BS. These labels have been created by politicians to split us. And you need to start looking at this using your brain, which God gave each one of us. That's my message.
Yeah, that's a good message. That's a good message. So if these people, and I'm just going to make some